Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world, and welcome to our Nancy Tech monthly community call for the month of October. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just as a friendly reminder, for all meetings, they're all recorded and posted to our community YouTube channel later. If you don't wish to be recorded, stay on mute, stay off camera, or disengage from the call altogether. You can watch the recording later, but you could just stay on mute and stay off camera. But the networking sessions are normally excluded from the recording, so you don't have to worry about that part. All right, here's our agenda for this month. Same kind of agenda for the beginning of the call. We had our arrivals a little while ago, and now we're into the greetings and agenda part. Excuse me. We'll do a meet the team. We'll learn a little bit about Anansi. I have our speaker and our sponsor and volunteer call. We have our community announcements, and then it'll be time to get into the speaker time. Then we'll have some networking time if time allows, and then we'll do the close. Now today it's a little bit weird on the speaking time because our keynote speaker is sick, so he'll be moving till next month. Blaze, he'll be moving to next month. So we won't have a keynote, but so our Harry and my talk will be a bit longer today. And then I will also be presenting on behalf of Eric because he can't make it to the call as well today. So I'll be presenting his slides since we've had these slides for a bit, but I'm going to keep this message going. Okay. Oops, too many clicks. All right, going back to meet the team. Whoops, got the host on the wrong part. Today I'm hosting. I'm Nakia Carter. I'm one of the co-founders for Anansi Tech. I'm also the sponsor organizer. Then we have Harry Carter, who's going to be presenting with me today, another co-founder and a speaker chair. Um, then we have Sigul, who is another co-founder. He is lead of the LinkedIn community engagement. And then we have Azora Carter and Azora and Imani Carter. Yes, Azora and Imani Carter, both leading up events management and marketing for our Nancy events. All right. Description of the community. So we are a group of Microsoft professionals and Microsoft professional wannabes who um, who are aspiring or who love Microsoft Tech or work in Microsoft Tech right now, or interested in Microsoft Tech. So we're mostly focused on Microsoft Office 365, SharePoint Teams, Power Platform, and tech that's related. But we'll also have sessions on career advice, sessions like LinkedIn, public speaking, getting your portfolio together, things like that. So career guidance and career advice type sessions, as well as we have our networking time. There's the links on the slide, but these links are also available through the QR codes on the last slide for the closing. So you can wait until then or take a picture of the slide. We'd also love for you to get social during this time when we're in these community calls by using the hashtag Anansi Tech Community and or Anansi Tech. All right. Okay, so now's the time for the speaker, sponsor, and volunteer call. So if you are interested to speak for this community, whether you're a seasoned vet or a newbie or anywhere in between, please let us know. We would love to host you. Try out your communication and presentation skills in this environment that's a little bit less pressure, but also share your knowledge with the community. And their topics could be on the tech around Microsoft Tech that we've talked about, Office 365, SharePoint Teams, Power Platform, and those technologies related. But it could also be on career or tech career type advice. So please submit your sessions. There's the QR code right there. We would love to have you. Sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring this group, especially when we get to the phase where we're about to do the conference, or we go into hybrid mode, where we all have in-person sessions as well as have the session being posted online, and people can also attend online and in person. So have a hybrid meeting. If you're interested in future sponsoring, please let us know by using the QR code on this slide. And then for volunteers, we always need volunteers. Volunteering along with speaking are good resumes boosters. So if you would like to help, but you don't want to speak, you can help us in the background by hosting the monthly meetings. Well, maybe that's not in the background. You could be the host like me, but you could help us with the engagement in the background. You can help us with the community management, with the event management, things like that. So you don't necessarily have to be on the forefront, but you could still get some of that valuable knowledge and experience that can help on your resume. So if you would love to or like to volunteer, please let us know by using the QR code on the slide. All right, now we're going into community announcements. So, and Saturday, November 30th, there'll be this action summit. It's going to be the Green Action Project Summit, where they're going to be empowering Ghanaian youth to create green businesses. So if you have an opportunity to join this community event, please look it up and get those details so that you can register and attend. All right. Here's another one. This is going to be a digital learning summit. This one's a little bit further out. So the last one was in November, will be in November. And this one will be in May of next year. So it's supposed to be a pretty big event. And it's going to be online. So you go ahead and register for that as well as having the location. Okay. And then Ghana Green Energy Week is also coming up in November. So I believe there's going to be some activities around the Best Western Plus Atlantic Hotel. All right. So that's all the community announcements that we have for right now. So, as we've been discussing, this community is one to help you learn and help you grow, but to also help you teach and share your knowledge as well. So each one teach one. Share this community call with the folks that you know that may be interested in the tech or working in the tech already, who may need career and tech advice, tech career advice or career advice. Please let them know about this call so they can join and get in and all the learning in action. All right. So now we have our, before we get into speaker time, now we have our our YouTube video. It Mattress Firm Associates and how they use Office 365 to improve their customer experience. So let's watch.
To better serve our customers in an omni-channel fashion, we need to have options for both the sales associate and the customer. They may want to buy in store, they may want to research in store and then buy later online. And so we just have to make things transparent and really allow the customer to drive the experience.
Our vision is to be America's most trusted authority on sleep. We do that every day by making it easy to find the right mattress through the right products and a seamless experience. Mattress Firm's the largest specialty mattress retailer. We have over 2,500 locations across the country. So it's really important that we have tools that allow us to quickly communicate to each other.
Some of the challenges we had before were having information and conversations in different places.
We looked at Microsoft 365 as an opportunity to unify everything under a cloud platform.
Having people that work all across the country, we need a really easy way to deliver one message to everyone at the same time. Having technology like Stream allows us to have a more authentic connection with all of our employees.
Communication has definitely changed, especially with Streams being on board now. We now have the ability to go watch these videos, be interactive. We noticed the team more engaged, more curious. Is helping my sales team hit the floor faster in about half of the time.
Mobile has been a game changer for how we communicate, but it's also really important for our field managers who are traveling all the time. They can now use something like Teams on the go with all their team members and know that it's secure.
If I want to go and do a walkthrough, I now have the power to do a video conference with them.
When our first-line employees or our retail sales associates are able to use Teams, it helps make them more efficient.
With Teams, you have it all in one spot. You can do files, conversation history, you can invite whoever you need to the groups, and it's been really big help just making sure information gets around to the team. One of the benefits with Teams now is that we can send information back to corporate. Having the ability to give insight to what's going on the floor helps us all win. Everyone's trying to find the best ways to make our guests happy and customers for life. Teams helps us actually sell more beds. It's just cool.
The speaker slide. Okay. So as I said earlier, little bit of a change to our speaker lineup today. Eric is unable to join us today, so I'm going to present his slides. And then Harry and I will do our introduction to SharePoint. And Blaze will have to join us next month. Hopefully he's feeling better. He's sick right now. So we'll be taking up basically all of the time for most of our presentation on Intro to SharePoint. But I will go Eric's slides right now on the Baobab platform. All right, so I'm not Eric, but I'm going to talk about succeeding in careers during the information age using this very effective platform called Baobab. It's made for Africans, by Africans for the use, but it's powered by Mastercard. It was an internal platform that Mastercard, Africans at Mastercard were using to to um, to promote and learn internally in Mastercard, but the platform was so good that they decided that they wanted to expand it so that folks from the continent all over could partake in this platform. So what is Baobab? How to join it? We look at some settings and the features, the networking, and why to join Baobab. So as I said, it's a platform that was built on Mastercard by some Africans that worked at Mastercard. But now it's a platform for social and professional and learning around community of Africans, whether they be young leaders or some folks who are a bit more seasoned as alumni. All right. So this is how you can join. You can go to baobabplatform.org and sign up today. There's a YouTube link and tutorial. So when you get these slides, and you can go to this link if you're having trouble, that's at the bottom of the slide. You can click on that link and it'll take you to a video to help you learn how to sign up if you have some issues. But when you get in, you set up your profile just basically like any other profile. You add all your details, you add your headshot, you add what other detail, well, all the required details, and then you fill in whatever details that might be optional as you see fit. All right, it has a feed. The platform has a feed where you can share posts about your achievements or quotes or successes or share pictures and things like that. And other people can view it just like the feeds for other social medias. There's courses, so you could take a wide range of courses that are tailored to university students and professionals. There's also certification that can be awarded at no cost. Oh, and all of this is free. So this is a free platform. There's no cost for joining the platform, and there's no cost for taking the courses or anything like that. And here's some of the different courses, or at least the different categories of courses that you could be partaking in, like foundational skills, digital skills, 21st century skills, work readiness, things like that. Then there's the, whoopsie, too many clicks. Sorry, slides are being a little bit slow. Then there's the opportunity space where folks can join different opportunities that are posted. So you could post opportunities for others to access, as well as folks will post opportunities. And those opportunities can be like scholarship opportunities, internships, employee work, working for an employer, that type of opportunity to volunteer, so forth and so on. There's the mentorships. So you have the ability to try to get a one-on-one mentor placement with a working professional who has experience who's either based in Africa or has significant work experience in the continent somewhere. You also have these benefits that are good for university students. Again, there's the opportunities, the actually, this is the recap. The opportunities, the professional development, the mentorship, and then you also have networking and collaboration capability through the platform. And then a few extra features that they have. So the platform is bilingual. You have the ability to do messaging, there's notifications, and of course, there's a menu. Anyone can join Baobab. We've joined Baobab. We got to join again because of some of the rules that we realized are a bit different. But anybody can join. There's even an app for your phone. It's free. All of the things therein are free for you to join into the learning opportunities, for you to join into the collaboration opportunities, learning events, things like that. All of it's free through the platform. So it's especially a good tool for those of you who are still in school or freshly out of school because it will give you the ability to access the professional development courses that can be very helpful for when you enter the workforce or if you're new in career, help you with continuing learning, or even if you're more seasoned, give you a little bit more training that'll help you as you're in the workforce. Again, the platform is free and there's lots of different opportunities and there's access to like mentorships and things like that with professionals already in the field. All right, so that's the end of that. All right, so moving on now into the next session. So Harry is going to kick us off and then I'll do the demo part. But we're going to do intro into SharePoint. So Harry, you go ahead and whoopsie, take it away. I hate when the slides do that. We can't hear you.
All right, my mic should be on now.
Yes.
All right, good morning. Thanks for that, Nikki. We're going to go ahead and kick this straight off. SharePoint is a powerful tool that can help Ghana address challenges across various sectors. So that's what we're going to get into today. So in this presentation, we'll explore how SharePoint can be used in key sectors such as energy, mining, healthcare, education, finance, and agriculture to enhance collaboration, data management, compliance, operational efficiencies. We will start by providing an overview of SharePoint role in Ghana and the benefits it will offer across various sectors. Then we will explore how SharePoint can be used in specific sectors such as energy, mining, healthcare, education, and finance to address unique challenges. Finally, we will highlight some of the ways that SharePoint can be empowering Ghana sectors by enhancing collaboration, data management, and operational efficiency. Then, as Nikki said before, then we will have the demo on the platform itself. So, SharePoint is a web-based collaboration and document management platform that is widely used across the world. In Ghana, SharePoint has gained traction due to its ability to address various challenges across sectors. SharePoint is relevant and can be adapted in various sectors in Ghana because of its versatility, its customization capabilities. SharePoint is web-based collaboration and documents management platform that is widely across the world. It allows users to create, manage, share content, applications with others. SharePoint provides robust security and across control that ensures data remains secure and safe. SharePoint is relevant in Ghana because it helps to solve problems that are unique to the country. It widely adopts in various sectors across, including energy and mining, healthcare, government. SharePoint provides a platform collaboration that can help break down information silos and improve communication. It can help increase operational efficiencies, improve data management, enhance collaboration. That means, helping you work together, ensuring compliance. In the next few slides, we explore how SharePoint can be used in specific sectors and address unique challenges. The energy and gas sector in Ghana faces various challenges such as safety reporting, regulatory compliance, remote collaboration, incident tracking, and document sharing across remote locations. SharePoint can help ensure safety reports and regulatory compliance by providing a centralized platform for reporting, tracking safety incidents. SharePoint can also be customized to meet specific regulatory requirements. SharePoint can help facilitate remote collaboration, incident tracking by providing a platform for sharing information, tracking incidents, monitoring progress. SharePoint can help teams work together more effectively, even when they are geographically apart. SharePoint helps facilitate document sharing across remote locations by providing a centralized platform for storing, sharing, and accessing documents. This can help teams work together more effectively and ensure that everyone has access to the latest information. The mining sector in Ghana faces challenges such as environmental compliance, field data collection, community engagement management, and maintaining operational permissions. SharePoint can help ensure environmental compliance and field data collection by providing a platform for tracking and reporting environmental data. SharePoint can also be used to manage file data collection and ensure that data is accurate and up to date. It can help manage community engagement by providing a platform for sharing information and engaging with local communities. SharePoint can help identify community concerns and ensure that they are addressed in a timely manner. By providing a platform for managing permits and license, SharePoint can also help ensure that all necessary permits are obtained and that they are renewed on time. Also in the healthcare sector, Ghana faces various challenges such as secure patient data management, health outreach, content sharing, and compliance with Ghana Data Protection Act. SharePoint can help ensure patients' data management by providing a platform for storing and accessing patients' data. SharePoint can also be customized to meet specific regulatory requirements. SharePoint can help facilitate health outreach, content sharing by providing a platform for sharing information and educational materials. SharePoint can help ensure that the accurate and up-to-date information is shared with the community. In the educational sector, SharePoint can help ensure compliance with Ghana Data Protection Act by providing a platform for managing and protecting data. SharePoint can help ensure that patient data is protected and that access is restricted to authorized personnel. In the educational sector, Ghana faces various challenges such as enabling remote learning, resource sharing from universities and rural schools, and collaborative research documents. SharePoint can help enable remote learning by providing a platform for sharing educational materials and facilitating online collaboration. SharePoint can help students and teachers collaborate more effectively, even when they are not in the same physical location. SharePoint can help facilitate resource sharing for universities, rural schools by providing a platform for sharing educational content and material. SharePoint can help ensure that the students have access to the latest educational resources, regardless of their location. In the financial sector, SharePoint can help facilitate collaborative research documentation by providing a platform to share research data, collaboration on research projects. SharePoint can help research works together more effectively, ensure that research data is accurate and up to date. The financial sector in Ghana faces various challenges such as streamlining documentation, workflows, compliance training, and customer service portal. SharePoint can help streamline document workflows by providing a platform for managing and sharing financial documentations. SharePoint can help automate documents workflows that ensure that documents are accessible to authorized personnel. SharePoint can help facilitate compliance training by providing a platform for delivering training materials and tracking progress. SharePoint can help ensure that all employees receive the necessary compliance for training. SharePoint can help facilitate customer service portals by providing a platform for managing customers' customers' inquiries and requests. SharePoint can help ensure that customer service requests are handled properly and effectively. In the agriculture sector in Ghana, it faces various challenges such as farming training by NGOs, supply chain tracking, field agents management, and project transparencies. SharePoint can help to facilitate farm training by NGOs by providing a platform for sharing educational material, facilitating online collaboration. SharePoint can help NGOs collaborate more effective with farmers even when they are not in the same physical locations. SharePoint can help facilitate supply chain tracking by providing a platform for tracking and reporting supply chain data. SharePoint can help ensure that farmers have access to the latest information about their supply chain. SharePoint can help facilitate field agents, management, and project transparencies by providing a platform for sharing information and tracking progress. SharePoint can help ensure that field agents have access to the latest information and that their progress in tracking and reporting is transparently. SharePoint can empower Ghana sector by addressing unique regional needs, enhancing collaboration, data management, and ensuring compliancy of operational efficiencies. SharePoint can be customized to meet unique regional needs in Ghana. It can help address challenges to a specific region or sector, providing solutions that meet specific requirements. SharePoint can enhance collaboration and data management by providing a platform for sharing information, collaborating on projects, and managing data. SharePoint can help break down information silos, improve communication across teams and sectors. It also can help ensure compliance and operational efficiencies by providing a platform for managing compliance, tracking progress, optimizing workflows. SharePoint can help ensure the operations run smoothly and that the compliance requirements are met. Now we'll switch over to live demo to the demo site. And I'll switch it back to you, Nikia.
Okay. I will share my screen. All right, because I have multiple screens, one of my screens is up, so I'll be looking up for this demo since this is on my second screen. My demo is on my second screen. All right, so I'm looking at a SharePoint site right now. Now, SharePoint sites can look a whole bunch of different ways, and this is just one look and feel. The sites can be branded in a way, colored and branded in a way that meets the client need or your internal need if you're using SharePoint internally. This is a home page for one of the SharePoint sites that I'm going to show you today. There's another one that I'll also show you in a second, but let's explore this home page for a bit. So we're in Office 365 or Microsoft 365. So we have the suite bar up here. But even if you were in SharePoint on-prem, as long as you're in SharePoint 2016, I believe, and further, then you also will have a suite bar up here, but it might not be as functional as it is when you're in Office 365. So for example, you may not have the waffle or the app launcher, excuse me, the app launcher, which is also called the waffle because it looks kind of like a waffle, but it has other options of where you can go in Office 365. You may not have that if you're on-prem, but you may have some things in the waffle, or maybe you don't have a waffle. You have the ability to search. This is a search box that you can start typing in. I'm not sure if we have any. So usually when you click on it, and it's doing it this time, the box will give you some things that it thinks you might want. I forgot to preface this whole demo with, this is a cloud demo. This is a demo on a cloud product. Any cloud products are always being updated constantly. We don't really know when they're being updated. They could be updated while I'm actually doing this call with you right now, doing this demo. Sometimes things change and move around. So if I fumble a little bit, it's because, they moved the button or the thing isn't acting the way it normally is, or normally does. Um, or they took away an option and then they put it back, like clicking in this box. The drop down menu wasn't showing like a couple of days ago, but now it's back. So I guess people complained. But it gives you some things that you can actually that it thinks that you might want to find. But since there's not that much in this site, I won't really do a search here. I'll do a search in the other site. Um, if you have your hub site set up, then you'll also have this portion up here where you'll have the home for the hub, as well as you can add links, or there may be links to other sites that are hub to this site available here. Then this navigation, um, it really depends, but it could be pointing to things inside of the site itself, or it could be pointing to things outside of the site, like other sites, like completely outside of SharePoint, or other sites internal to SharePoint. So they could be pointing anywhere. Sometimes you may have a menu that's on this side. It's called the left navigation, and usually the menu up here is called the global navigation, and then this is the hub navigation. So if you have a left navigation, normally it points to things that's internal to the site. That's normally what people put there, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes those links are different. They could go to different sites. They could go outside of SharePoint or outside of Office 365 entirely. So it just depends on what people put there, but normally that's what's there. And normally in the global, it is links to go to other sites or places outside of SharePoint or Office 365 itself. Or it could end up being the left navigation that got shifted to the top, because that happens too at times as well. Okay, more things on this page. So besides the navigation, now you may have the ability to see the edit button and the add link button, but that's only if you have that ability to actually do the edits and the ads and things like that. SharePoint is permission based. Most of the users will be those people that are called contributors. Contributors are folks that actually can add documents, can add things to the list, and we'll look at lists and libraries in a little bit. So they can add documents to the library, they can add items to a list, but they can't really change the elements inside of the site or change the list or the library itself or create new lists or libraries or delete those lists or libraries or create new site pages. They only can add to what's there, what's they can only add items or individual things to what's there. They can't really create whole new things. So the next level up, even though there's another permission level in between there, the next general level up is the site owner. And that site owner is the one that usually has full control over the site, and they're able to see the edit button and the link button and other buttons like these that I'll go over in a little bit. Um, then above that site owner, there's another level of permission called the SharePoint admin. And the SharePoint, oh, I'm sorry, one more level before the SharePoint admin. The next level is the site collection administrator. That site collection administrator has full control over not just that site, but any subsites. Now, we don't do subsites anymore. Subsites is not best practice. It's best practice to do hub sites as opposed to subsites. But the difference between the full owner control of the site owner and the full owner control of the site collection owner is that you could keep the site owner out of some things. Some things the site owner might not be able to see, like if documents are checked out, they won't be able to see them. But the site collection administrator could see the documents are checked out in the document library and then check them in for a person who may have forgotten to check their document in and now nobody can see or interact with the document. Or they only see the last version of the last checked in items that were included in the last document that they worked on. But the document in its current state cannot be seen because it's checked out by somebody who might have, been editing and then got sick all of a sudden, or something happened to them, or they had it open overnight, and then the next day they forgot they were on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So the site collection administrator could actually see those documents where the site owner can't. So they have a little bit more full control than the site owner has. And then the ultimate power, at least in the SharePoint space, is the SharePoint administrator. The SharePoint Online space, anyway, is the SharePoint administrator. If we're talking about SharePoint on-prem, then that would be the farm administrator. But the SharePoint administrator on SharePoint Online, because that's where we're talking about right now, they have the ability to let themselves into any site collection in the whole system. So even if they don't have access to that site, they could just go into the admin center and add themselves, and then they have access, just like the site collection administrator has access. So they can't be kept out of anything either. So that kind of gives you a little bit of the flavor of the permission structure and how SharePoint is secured. There's also going down from those people that are contributors that are normally those folks that are internal to your company. Most folks end up being contributors. And then there's a few folks that are the site owners. And then there's a few folks that are, the site collection administrators, but usually in SharePoint Online, you just skip straight over that to the SharePoint administrator, which you want to have at least 2 or 3 of those folks, so that if something happens to one of them, or if they're out, whatever, you have somebody backing up the site. But under the most folks, there may be some folks or maybe some content that the site owner who created the site or is in charge of the site has, deemed that other people can't see for whatever, can see, but can't download it for whatever reason. So there's another permission under contribute called view. So underneath that, and then there's one, read, and then underneath that, there's another one called view. So read gives folks the permission to be able to read things as they are on the screen. They can download the documents, but they can't upload anything back. They can't change anything. The visitor, I'm sorry, the read permission um, gives the person the I'm sorry, not the view permission gives the person an ability to see things in place, but they can't download anything. So that's kind of a little bit of a tutorial on that. All right, so moving a little bit forward. So again, depending on your permission level, you might not see the ability to edit the menu links here or add links here as well. You might not see that. You also might not see this whole band right up here, but you may see part of it. Now, if you can see it, um, you have the new where you could create a new list or a library from here, which I don't normally do. I normally go do it the traditional way, which is to go to site contents and create it there. But you could create it here. There's really no problem with creating it there here. You can also create a new page. So a new page for the site. So some people think that if you have a site and you need a new page, you got to create a whole new site collection or a whole new site. That's not the case. You can just create a new page that would be in the site, and then you add the link to that page onto the menu somewhere, and then people can get to that page. Or you put it on the page somewhere as maybe a link or a button or something like that, and then people can get to the page. But a site collection can have multiple pages that folks can go to. Those pages can be permissioned as well. So, maybe you have a page for only leadership. The only leadership people can get to that page because maybe it's got a bunch of, statistics and stuff on it that everybody else shouldn't be seeing. So you could permission that page to just a certain set of people or leave it open so that everybody that can access this site at the level that they can access it will be able to also access that page. There's some other things here like space that's very new, so I don't really know what that is at this moment, so I'm not going to comment on that. News posts, we'll see that. That is one of these things. So I'm going to show you that a little bit more in depth in a minute since we actually have a lot of time. um, News link, actually, I don't know what this one is either in app either. These are newer to me too, so I'm going to skip those as well for now. There's also page details and analytics. I'll show you that in a minute. If you have the ability, you'll also see that when the last draft of the page was saved, you could share the page, copy the link. If you have the ability, you'll be able to edit the page, which I'll show you that as well, and publish the page or republish the page if the page is not already published. For the page details, each page is a file in the document library. Site pages is actually a document library, and the pages are files in that document library. So just like any other item in SharePoint, and if you don't know, I will be showing you that in more detail. There will be properties, or there may be properties that are able to that the system puts in place for the item or the file. But there also may be custom properties that you may add to the list or library, being them being columns, where you could change those data points. So for this one, this is mostly because this is a site page. I haven't added any additional columns to the site pages library. There aren't any other details for me to modify or anything like that. It's all it's all properties that the page has. However, I can see, the picture, um, with description. If there was one, I could, well, if there was one, I could use the editor for spell checking. This shows me that there are no custom properties available, but there could be some added. If there were, they would show up here. And then the other details, like when it was modified last, and the ability to get to the version history of the file, the page, which is a file. We'll go over version history when we get into the lists and libraries. But right now, I'll just leave that as that is, and we'll look at the analytics. Now, this one may be especially important to those of you who own your site. and you're being asked, so how is your, or for some reason you need to know, how is your site performing? Are people coming to your site? Are they interacting with your site? You'll be able to see how many viewers there were, how many page views, the average time that people spend on your site per, user. So averaging that time out so you can get a good idea. People are spending, 4 minutes. That's a pretty good time. That means they're clicking around a little bit and then they probably leave, but you might want them to be spending more time than 4 minutes, depending on your requirements. And then the page traffic by time. So you can hover over these and actually get some statistics off of that as well. And then you could switch the views. So there are 7, 30, and 90-day time frames, that you can also look at. And that can be helpful for reporting out to your team, to your manager, to yourself, just to understand where your site is, how your site's performing, and how people are taking the site without doing a survey. All right. Now, again, if you have the ability to do so, you could edit the page. Just click on the edit button. You'll see that edit button up there. And then the page will go into edit mode. And just waiting. All right, all right, all right, all right. Slowly coming up. All right, when we get into this edit mode, it basically gives us the ability to change this page around however we want. Now, it doesn't give us the ability to change the colors of the page, the headers and the footers and things like that. I'll also show you where you could change that. But let's get into just editing the page. Now, this is new. I haven't seen this before, so I'm kind of going through this with you at this moment, this toolbox that is coming up now. Looks like now when you go in edit mode, you get this toolbox where you get the web parts on the side, the stock images, the section templates, and things like that on the side. But you still also have the plus buttons, where the plus buttons allow you to add the web parts where you want to add them. There's a bunch of different web parts. Some of them used a lot by folks, so like quick links. We tend to use quick links in hero and news and events. We don't tend to use the image as much, but it's used a lot by folks, so it's in that box. Then you also have your web parts in categories. So your text media and content type web parts, like your hero web part, your link, your quick links, text box, YouTube video, your documents, lists, and libraries web part. So any libraries or lists that you want to show up on the page, you can use the library one for that. You can use the list one for here. If you wanted to just see the list properties, or for either a list or library, because both lists and libraries are both lists. So in this case, it means both lists and libraries, or the page properties for whatever reason, if you want to display that on the page. Different feeds, so feeds from Yammer, which is now called Viva Engage. So depending on which term you're used to, or if you're used to both, that's what Viva Engage is. It's Yammer. Um, there's news, people, and events. So, the ability to add news or organizational chart or people. Like if you wanted to list the different POCs for or points of contact for the site, you could use this people web part. There's data analytics, so the ability for you to add embed a Microsoft form or Power BI, some other things, regional information like Bing Maps. I kind of like that. The weather, like that one too, and the world clock. Actually, I like all three of these. Then there's some more advanced ones, like if you need to add code to the page, there's code snippet, and embedding like YouTube video or Sway, it says, or other types of video. This one, I think you can use like HTML and JavaScript and a couple of others. Um, Power Apps, the ability to embed a Power App. Actually, that should probably be up in the other section, but this is where it is right now. And then we have a few things that we actually injected into our site from GitHub. Or it was either from GitHub or was from the PNP library, which the PNP library points back to GitHub where you get the actual code from. So if you have other things that were added to your SharePoint online environment or your SharePoint environment, they will show up here. Any custom web parts, any injected web parts, they will all show up here as well. Okay. Now, if I wanted to change like the pages, or where's the thing at? Oh, I guess they put that over here. So it used to be that there was if you hover over around the side, there was like a little page gadget for you to be able to put the page in or add a new section. But it looks like you add the sections from here. So if I wanted to add another section of, let's say, there we go. Whoops. Okay, now I'm going to get two of them because I clicked it too many times. Okay, so once I clicked it, I got a section of three, a section showing three parts in it, just like it shows right here. 1, 2, 3, where I can add different pieces to each section. Or I could leave like this image here, these image blocks here, and add different images. But, I could add a different web part to each section and get rid of the image blocks. You just click on it and then hit the delete, and that deletes the image block. So I'm going to delete these blocks all together, this section and this other section, because I don't really want them here. Just wanted to show off the capability. There's, of course, a bunch of different images and stuff that you can do, but let's move on from editing the page. I am going to undo everything just to make sure I didn't mess up anything. All right, it saved my changes, and then I can just save and close, or I can republish. Now, saving and close doesn't show whatever changes that you made to the page until you republish it. You have to republish it for people to be able to see what was last changed. If you just save it and close it, then you'll be able to see that version of it when you go into the edit mode, but nobody else will be able to see that version until you publish it. So I'm just going to publish it. I did undo everything, so everything should be undone. Or did it put it back? Nope, it put it back. Before I do this, let me delete this. To put the one back because I hit the undo, which I shouldn't have. Now let me republish it. Okay. Oh, that's a new thing. So that drop down was saying that you could schedule the republish. That's a new one. Again, so you can, from what that was saying, you could actually hit that button that was above the publish button and actually schedule when this new page should be published. So that way, if you have a new rollout happening of your SharePoint, a new SharePoint design, and you want that new design or newly designed page to show up, but you don't want it to show up till Monday, but Monday you're going on vacation. You're on vacation and you finish all your work on Friday, so you could schedule it for Monday and it will publish itself without you being there. So that's pretty awesome. All right. Now it tells me when I last published the page, which was just now, the 26th of October. So it's showing that. I also have the ability to share the page, which I think no, I didn't show this. You could click on share page and you'll get a pop-up window for sharing the page, including the share link, copy link, or you could copy the link to the page. Now, you can share your page all you want, but if the person does not have access to this site, you could share the page to them and they will get access denied and then they'll have to fill in a little block and request access. So you might want to make sure that the person has actual permission before you share with that person or set of people, because you can share with a group of people, which is best practice. It's actually not best practice to share individual things like this, but if a person already has permission to the page, giving them the link to it is not, is not going to mess with the permission structure. But when you share it, and you share it with somebody that might not necessarily have the permission and they end up getting granted the permission, that could possibly mess with the permission structure, but that's a conversation for another day. Just something to be aware of. All right, going through a few more elements on this page before we move to the next site. Excuse me. So the time and the world clock one, there's, this type of ability to show time clocks in different time zones. I love that because we work in different time zones, so it can be very helpful to see um, our own time zone, as well as East Coast, as well as Central, as well as Ghana time. But as you can see, there's a few different time zones here. There's a countdown clock thing that helps you to count down to a big event. So this one's counting down the number of days to the town hall. So every day you come in, it will count it down. It will count it down until you get the minutes and all of that stuff. The news. This is actually a really good place for you to have like your manager's corner, if it's an HR site, maybe the news for HR, like it's tax season, it's flu season, things like that. If it's like your project team, it could be news around, hey, we just finished phase 1 of project XYZ, great job team, things like that. So kind of love these pages because, well, you could hit the news post right here under new, or you could just hit add news and it will take you to a page. Well, first of all, you got to add a template, first of all. There's a couple of different templates here. There's your blank page that kind of starts you off just fully blank. Each of these things shows you a little preview of what it's going to look like. So it shows you that it's fully blank. You get to add all the goodness. There's the starter page where this one has a starter video. So start with videos and add other web parts. The trainer type page. So if you need a training page, you could start with this as your basis. Your recap type page. So recapping like different events. So, if we wanted to have one internally for recapping all of our Nancy stuff, but we have our community on LinkedIn, so we don't recap it internally. But if we wanted to, that would be one of those things that we could use. The message page for broadcasting a specific message. Visual is just the way the layout is. It makes it, it gives you some pre-built in text and picture places where you could replace all the pictures and stuff. But it's just a template that they made that's a lot more visual because there's a lot more visual elements across the whole page. And then there's the basic text page. Where you could just have the top and then some basic text here. But I'm going to start with blank. And let me get this out of the way. And then I can create a post. I can also create it as a private draft if I want. But right now I'm going to create it as one that's going to be not a private draft. So other people that have the ability to see into this, they can actually go see it. All right, so now I have this blank page. This is the bottom like header of the page where, or footer of the page, one where you could turn on comments so people can comment on the page. I'll turn that on so you'll be able to see it if it'll let me click on it. Being slow. Oh, I gotta click on the actual, it won't let me click on the toggle. I actually gotta click on the word. Um, but that turned it on and you'll be able to see what that looks like in a little bit. Then they also added this one widget just in case I wanted it to be here. I'll just leave it here. It's the you may also be interested in web section that helps folks to be able to navigate to other things that might be relevant to that person. You could take that off or just leave it there. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it here. I could change this top section to the different types of looks. So there's the banner look, which we're looking at right now, and then there's the full width section, which didn't look like it changed anything. Okay, so that part changed some. I'm gonna look at the properties. Oh, this is with the whole page. Okay, so I see now. This is not the top banner thing. This is the whole page thing. Um, okay. Then duplicate the web part and browse images. Okay, this is where I'm trying to go. Under the banner, so when I clicked on the properties, it shows me the properties for the banner. I'm able to change the layout, so I could change it to where it's author like that, fade like this, title and image looking like that, plain like that, color block, which just basically puts a block of color in front of the picture, and overlap like that. So let's look at what it looks like once I add an actual picture. So I'm going to go to browse images on the bar up here over top of the banner. Click on that. There's recent images, but I haven't been in the site doing anything recently, so I don't have any. Stock images, you could search the web, you could look in your OneDrive, you could look in other sites, you could upload one and you can get one from a link. But what I'm going to do is use the stock images because the stock images are usually pretty good. All right. Now there's a bunch of different categories and you can, of course, do a search for different things to get other different pictures that are relevant. So maybe I like that one and I can insert it. So now it shows up here. I can reset the picture, which will take it out. I can manage the focal point. So if I wanted it to be up here for some reason, showing this part, or down here, showing maybe that part, I can move the focal point of the picture around. And then I could go back to the overlaps. So this is the overlaps right here, just same thing right here, the same layout is the same thing as overlap out here, right here is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if we look at the same thing with author, notice no picture now, it just shows the author's picture, which is me. Fade. See how it added a bit of fading to the picture. Image and title. So you can see how name's still there. I need to add a title. Plain. No image. Now, really, really plain. I don't like it. Color block. Puts the color block in front of the picture, as I said earlier. And then the last one, the overlap, puts that overlap like this. Now, I like the color block, so I'm going to go back to that one. On this right navigation or right panel, I have the ability to also choose the alignment for the text above the title. Well, the alignment of the well, let me see, because this is a little bit different. Um, okay, so if I wanted to make it centered, okay, alignment of the color box, that's what it is. So I can make it left aligned or I can make it center aligned, which is pretty cool. I actually like the center aligned. I could put some text above the title box. I could show the text box above the title, which is showing yes, so it's showing up here right here. Um, show the publish date. I have no, but this is a new one too. Okay, so there goes the published date right there. So I'll just leave that there. Accessibility, so you can add your alternative text. Mostly this is best practice to do. I'm not going to do it right now. Um, and I can't right now because it's marked as decorative. But if I wanted to add alt text, I have to mark it as not decorative. So that if somebody's has low or no vision and they're using a screen reader, the screen reader will actually pick up what this thing is. But because it's really decorative, I'm going to mark it as such. So the screen reader, oh, I keep forgetting you got to click on the actual words. The screen reader actually picks it up as such. Okay. I have to add a title to this page. So I could save the page with just the title and the page will save. But if I want to save the page, and I want to just move on, like right now, if I wanted to hit save and close, it's going to say add a page title to continue. That is your required field on this page for this file. So you have to add a title here. Um, um, new news. Come on. Okay, here we go. All right, I just had to click somewhere else, and I think what I just clicked on was yes, I did. Let me go back. I clicked on the email preview. Just shows you a preview of what it will look like in the email. So I could add text and, a bunch of stuff here to make this page pretty. Let's see. Mm. Okay. All right, so that'll be the text that'll be on the page, and I'll go ahead and save and close the page. Now will actually let me save it. All right, and then it took it out of edit mode because I closed out of edit mode. The page is not published though, so people cannot see it because it's a fresh page. If it was a page that was already here, already pre-published, then people will be able to see the original changes, but not any of the changes that I made just now until I publish it. When I publish it, you can use the post and send button. Because this is a news post, you also have the ability to send it as an email out to folks. So it would be posted on oh, I don't like the way that Chrome came out like that. Hopefully you could see this. It says, send this news as an email post. Your news is posted. So it was posted. Once I hit that button, I could send the email if I want, or I could just X out of it. If I wanted to send the email, then I can send it to anybody that I want to send it to internally. There's me. Let's see, put it to Harry. Um, I think you can even send it externally. But again, if the person doesn't have access, then they won't be able to access it directly. I can hit the send. I can also send it as a link, or I can skip sending the email altogether. which I am going to skip sending the email altogether. But you also get to see the preview right here. And because there's not a whole lot on here, it does normally give you about a quarter to a half of the page. If there was more stuff, then I would actually see that in the preview. But don't see it right now because I did not add a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to skip that. I don't want to send it out. I just wanted to show you that and also publish the page. So now if we go back to the home and we look at the news, you see I have a new piece of news here, and it's got a picture as well as part of what it's saying right here. All these parts, so I'm going to go back and edit the page. All or most of these parts on the page give you the ability to change the view and how it's represented. So, for example, if I were to click on the news, I can see that I have some options along with deleting it and copying it and editing the properties and moving it around on the page. I have the ability to change the way it looks. So this is, I think, oh yes, showing side by side. So if we wanted to see top story, it would show up like that. And then if we had more of them, then they would actually show up on the side here, and this one would stay big. We could show it in lists, which we would have a bunch of them listed. I think it's usually up to 3. We could show it in, well, we saw the side by side. Hub News. Hub News will bring all the news from, if there are multiple sites hubbed together, then it'll bring all the news from all the hub into this one place. So there's Hub News, there's the carousel, which if you like your news to kind of spin and give folks that normally be arrows on the side, as well as at the bottom, the dots for people to be able to navigate, but because we only got one news post not showing up right now, and the tiles, which would just show the blocks of each picture and the header, the title. But that's basically it. So I'm going to go back to, well, actually, I'm going to make it a top story. All right. And like I said, each of these things has something like that. So if I were to like click on quick links, there's some options for quick links, the events. There's the options for the way the events can be laid out. Come on, open up. Okay, for some reason that's not letting me click on it. Of course, SharePoint's being a little funky right now, but you get the picture. All right, so let me just save and close. All right, so now I'm about to move to a different site and show you how that site's different. Then we're going to go look at the lists and libraries and views as well, and version history as well. Okay, so I'm going to a different site. This is a whole nother different site. And like I said before, SharePoint can be made to look like, in all of the pages within SharePoint can have different ways of that they're represented. So this one, it has that more, I forgot which one this is. I think this is compact header with a hero website with some quick links. Now, these quick links could be a little bit more colorful, or they could look something like this. And we have our events web part. We have a web part for documents, for the document library that's here. The news web part doesn't have any news in it right here yet, but here's one of those people web parts that we were talking about earlier. And this conversations goes to Yammer or Viva Engage, but it gives folks the ability to have a conversation right on the page. And then there's that comment section, which I forgot to show you on the previous page, but that's what I turned on. So folks can actually comment on the page and mention people to get their attention. Like say, for example, Maybe there's something wrong with the page. The person could mention one of the POCs, let them know that that this page is having a problem, or that they love this page, or add whatever content or what have you. All right. So now let's go and look at the document and library and the lists. So this is a sample library with sample content in it. This web part is the document library web part that was put on the page, but we can go into the actual document library by going to the gear, going to site contents, and then finding that library in the site contents, or we could just click the see all right here. The see all will also take us to okay, wants to refresh the whole page. The see all will take us also to the document library's internal. Once you're internal in the document library or the list or whatever it happens to be that you went internal to, we're in the library, so we're able to see the action bar for the library, as well as the library's name, the ability to switch to different libraries if I had other libraries in this site, but we don't, so you can only switch to this one library. The different views for the library, which we'll go into, the filters, so being able to filter the library by these different types of things, the specific dates. If I had something checked, if I checked the box next to one of these things, then I would see the properties. But because I didn't, I'm only seeing the properties for the library, which isn't much. And then I can hide the header and navigation, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to close that. In this library, I see that I have folders, and I have some system columns that, as well as this column. So all these columns the system has made. The properties that we were talking about, these are the columns that are in the lists and libraries. Properties is the same as columns when you're in the list of library. Property is the same as fields where you're on the actual form for an item in a list. So, but when you're in the document library, even though both lists and library are both lists, they're two sides of the same coin. So they're both lists, but the document library focuses on the document. So when you hit the new button, what you get is folder, Word document, Excel, the different offices. You get the ability to put a link in, which I'll tell you about in a minute. You can also edit the menu and you can add a template. So like say, for example, you had a PDF, a fillable PDF template, and you wanted when folks when they come to this library, you want them to fill in that template. You can upload the template and then they can actually choose it from the list and fill in the template. But as you can see, this is asking you for a document because this is a library. It's focused on the file. That's what it wants. That's what it's going to ask you for. Now, there is another side of this coin, which is the lists, which are just called lists. So let me go to a list real quick and show you the difference here. So the list, the other side of the coin, so on the document side, it focuses on the files, but you can add additional columns, additional pieces of metadata, also called properties, to that library so that it has additional columns there to be filled in. But what it really is required is the document for you to even move forward. You have to have the document there. For the list, it's the opposite. So the properties, the metadata, the columns, the fields on the form need to be filled out, but then you could attach a file to it. So when I click on the new button here, as opposed to it asking me for what file do I want, it tells me to fill in the form. And remember, these fields are the same thing as these columns, which is the same thing as properties, which is the same thing as metadata. So all of those things basically mean the same. They're just represented in slightly different ways. But metadata and properties means data about data. And the fields are the fields on the form, and the columns are the columns in the list in the library. All right. So it's asking me to fill this thing in. Now, normally you have at least one field that has a asterisk beside it that's required. But here, for some reason, all the fields are not required. So I could actually save this without putting anything in, but that wouldn't be a good practice. So I'm not going to do that. But it's just showing you that when I open a new, or I'm trying to put a new item into this list, it's focused on the actual item details, the properties, the columns, filling in the form fields. But I could attach a file to it. Now, highly suggest you don't do that. Although some things you can do in SharePoint, it doesn't make it best practice, and it doesn't mean you should do it. This is one of the things that you probably should not do, except for in specific cases. So adding files to an item, if you have files to add, you should actually add them into a document library, not add a list item and then add files to it. It's hard as crap to migrate out. It's hard to see those files. You have to go into each item in order to see the file. The only time that I would actually say it would be okay to do such a thing would be if you are like handling like a list that is like an events calendar. And maybe those events are things that have flyers attached to it. And nobody wants to come back to a flyer. Nobody most likely is going to want to archive that flyer off anywhere. They might not, most likely they're not going to need to migrate it anywhere. So it's a throwaway. There's no need to get that flyer back out. It's only good for the actual event for people to click on and be able to say, oh, there's a flyer. But for any important information, do not do it this way. Put those files into a document library, add those additional columns, and add the additional metadata that you want to add through those columns. But do it through a document library, not through a list. All right. So let's go back to a document library. There's quite a few things that I could tell you about this, but we're basically out of time for this section of the presentation. But I'm going to take maybe about 10 more minutes just to kind of close out a few things. But again, there's so much more stuff that I could tell you about SharePoint. I have a SharePoint end user class that we can also, if anybody's interested. But the files, I'm sorry, the library also allows you to put a link here. So let me explain that before I move on. There may be a file that's in one library, in one site, or in one library, and it needs to show up in multiple libraries, or maybe across multiple libraries and multiple sites. Instead of adding that document all over the place, and then every time it changes, you got to change it all over the place, you could add a link to that document. And then it's like the documents in the library, but it would be taking them to that library to get to that document in that other library. Now, they won't be able to access the other library unless they have access to that other library, and they need to have access to that file in order for them to access the file. But hopefully the permission structure allows that. It's already set up for that so that you don't have to do individual permissions on that one file, because that is not best practice. It's best practice to keep the permission level at the lowest, at the library or list level, or at the folder level if you really, really have to. But permissioning every document and every item is going to cause a permission nightmare for you, so don't do that. So this is a way of putting that document in multiple different places, but it only really lives in one place and it's editable in one place. So that kind of tells you about that. Editing the menu just allows you to be able to take off any of the different items that you don't want. Like me, I normally take off folders. I don't like folders, and the reason why is because folders cause trouble You know this already. Everybody knows. It's always a problem to be able to see what's going on until you go into the folder. And if folks have folder and folder and folder and folder and folder, it's definitely hard to see what's going on if the document is already here. And then you end up getting duplicates of the document in different places because somebody didn't know it was in folder B and they put it in folder C, which is where they thought it was supposed to be. XYZ. So usually don't use folders. I normally use grouping in a view. Not going to have enough time to show that today, but maybe we'll have another intro to SharePoint session where we'll get more into the views and such like that. But now that I'm in this folder, there's nothing in here. I can use the breadcrumb to get back by clicking on documents right there, and that takes me back up the chain. And again, I'm not going to get too far into this because there's not a lot of time left, or we're over time actually. Except for I'm going to add one document real quick, just because I need to show you the version history. All right, once the document shows up, come on, it might already be here. Okay, it's already here. Okay. It opens it up in a new tab, so you got to do is close the tab when you're done with the document. The document automatically saves, so you don't have to worry about saving it, but we'll go over that in another session. This document's here. I'm able to click the three dots and get to this drop menu where there's version history, or check the box next to the document, go up to the action bar, to the end, the three dots, and there's version history. Under version history, I'm able to see the different versions of the document. Now, there's only the one version of this document, so you only see the one, but I may have the ability to delete versions, previous versions or all versions, depending on my permission level. I could roll a document back to a previous document, again, depending on my permission level, but I should be able to at least view the previous document if I can't restore it. So I can at least see it and then maybe alert the other person who is actually in charge of the library or in charge of the site, hey, can you roll back to this version because there's a problem? You can also see comments and such, but we'll talk about that at another time. Now let's go into the list, which I believe I still already have up. Come on, man. You're being so slow. Okay, this stuff is in the way. Okay, I should be able to. Okay, all right. So here's a list. Lists and libraries are basically the same thing, like I said. So you have a lot of the same options. Well, some of the same options, like having the bar. Although there's different things on the bar than were on the library's bar. There's also the views of the library, so the ability to change it to different types of views. And it looks like there's the filters up here that are available. Now, this is new to me, so I'm clicking through it, but this part's new to me. So, it looks like there's different other ways to filter as well. This is what I was talking by for grouping. This grouping allows for you to be able to have a folder-like structure, which you could put in a list or a library. But you have the ability to open all of the folders so that you can see everything inside of it. So I usually use grouping as opposed to folders, but some people cannot live without their folders. And they have the ability to make folders with different colors, which could also make sense. And it also makes sense if you need to have different permissions on the different folders than in the same library. That also makes sense to have folders because you can't put permissions on grouping. But you can see that this library this list has a few different items in it. And I can expand each of these groups to show which is in each of these things. So it's kind of like putting it in a folder. When I fill out the form, it fills all that data that I filled out in the form into these columns, as you see here. And there's still the ability to do version history on items as well. So if you click the three dots next to the item, there's the version history. You can actually, again, see, the different versions, see how this thing has changed over time. I even see like some comments and such, like this is actually showing me what changed. So what changed here was the device photo. That's what it changed to, which changed by Harry. This one, the color red was changed. So that was changed by Harry. So you can see different things here and have the ability to view, restore, or delete, depending on your permission for restore and delete, but you should be able to at least be able to view. Same thing I was talking about deleting all versions, but sometimes you have the ability to just delete, I think, depending on the types of versions, if you have just 1, 2, 3 as version, or if you have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2, 2.1, 2.3, that type of thing, then you will have another version type that you'll be able to delete. All right, so that was a whole lot. Let me just check the chat because I haven't been checking the chat at all this whole time and see if there's any questions. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to come off mute and let me know or put them in the chat window and we can continue on. Okay, I don't see any comments and no one's come off of mute. All right. All right, so let's go back to the slides. Harry, I believe you have the last slide.
All right. Thank you for that, Nikki. A lot of information, a lot of uses for the SharePoint. Hope everyone's able to see how it could be used within your own organizations or in your own companies that you know or use. So SharePoint is a powerful tool that can help Ghana address challenges across various sectors. By utilizing SharePoint, Ghana sectors can enhance collaboration, data management, compliance, and operational efficiency. SharePoint can help empower Ghana sectors, showing that they're equipped to meet the unique challenges they face. And with that said, this is the conclusion. We thank you for listening to us today. And I'll take it back to the host.
All right. So let me get my slides back up here. Okay. All right. So now that we finished all of the presentation part, thank you so much for your time and attention. It's now time for the networking time. So do we have any folks that want to come off mute and introduce yourself, where you're from, what field of tech that you're in, your purpose for joining the call, and then what do you think that the tech presented today can be applied to, using some examples from your own life or your own work life, or examples that you think would fit, as well as how do you think we can get more Ghanaians engaged in tech and in the tech community? So I'll start off. My name's Nakia Carter. Right now I'm in Washington State, but when we're in Ghana, we normally stay in Afenya. My company is NTC Tech, where I'm the co-CEO. And my purpose for joining the call is to help spread awareness and spread knowledge and spread community amongst those in Ghana, as well as all of Africa and the diaspora as well. So how do I think the tech can be presented today and presented today can be applied? So Harry gave a bunch of different things that can be done with the tech in Ghana. Some other examples, like in healthcare. No, what did he give healthcare? You gave healthcare, right, Harry? I forgot. I know it was
Yes.
mining. So one that
Healthcare.
didn't do, maybe legal.
Yeah, I didn't do legal.
Yeah. Okay. So say for example, you work for a law firm, all of the, paralegals and lawyers and secretaries are all trying to work together on different cases and things like that. In SharePoint, you could have like a portal that shows, or portals for each of the different cases. You can have like the customer portal where the customer could come in, pick up documents, understand from a dashboard where things are inside of their case that's going on, the documents that they have to pick up, the events that they have to attend, the deadlines they have to meet, any announcements, all of that stuff could be put there. And or you could have an internal team where, everybody that's working on that internal team has a site to go through to see those announcements, the delivery dates, work on documents together. That's where the documents can be stored. But most likely in that scenario, instead of using SharePoint, you would probably use Teams as opposed to SharePoint, which Teams is built on top of SharePoint for the internal work, for the collaboration around the documents and the plans and keeping the customer portal up to date and things like that. So that's another example that I could see that you could use SharePoint for like the legal field or a legal department inside of an organization. How can we get more Ghanaians engaged? Well, that's one community thing that we'll have to continue to explore. But we have now, so we have our LinkedIn community. We have the LinkedIn company where the events are and posted. We have the LinkedIn community where the conversation is. We have our WhatsApp community where there are announcements as well as conversation. Um, and then we're doing all of our posting and of course word of mouth through you all, as well as through Sigil, who happens to be a Ghanaian living in Ghana. So he's also, putting out the word, and then we put out the word through marketing, through LinkedIn and through the marketing through WhatsApp. All right. So that's me. I just kicked off networking time. Would someone else like um, to
Yeah, I
give
have
their
a
spiel?
question.
Mhm.
I have a question. Using that the list or library, are you without upgrading? Say for instance, I had a just the basic Office 365 that come with SharePoint. Now, SharePoint has the document libraries, they have the list. Can I automate those directly from that library and from that list without having Power Automate?
I'm not sure I quite understood the question.
Okay, so say for instance, I wanted to streamline documentation, like get notifications when new documentations are put in. I want to be able to have information sent to me when the inventory in my document library gets low. Can I streamline that from directly inside that document library?
Okay. Um, so in the document library and in list, you have the ability to set an alert that will alert you on different things. Um, So if you don't have anything checked and you're in a library or a list and you don't have anything checked, you go to the menu and you hit the alert me. Okay. Now here is, I would leave the title alone. You can add additional users here. So if you just wanted to alert yourself, you could do that. You can also use the everyone except external users if you wanted everybody to be alerted, or you can just add specific people that you want to be alerted, or just leave it at yourself. This section is a holdover. You can't do any changes here, so don't even worry about this section. The next ones are about the different types of changes that you might want to be made aware of. So Harry was talking about if things are being deleted. If you only wanted to know about things being deleted, you could do that. Or if somebody changed the document that you created, you could be very specific in these ways that you can be specific. Or you can leave it at all changes or if anything changes. And then you also have the ability to say when the notification will be sent out. You can have it sent out immediately. So every time something changes, anything changes, you get a notification. That could be too much. You might want to do a daily summary and you could choose which time, whoopsie, and you could choose which, goodness gracious, I keep hitting the wrong part of the thing. Um, you could choose which time you want, or send it as a weekly summary, and you can choose which day and which time.
Okay, thanks for that, Nikki. So, to place that in real life, if I am working with someone um, in my organization or either outside my organization, we're working on documentations together. I'm waiting for them to finish because I can't put this proposal into whoever until that person finished their side of the paperwork. So instead of them having to email you that they have completed, they would add it directly back into the folder. You will be notified as soon as they do it. It saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of energy of tracking down documentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, and that's if you set the alert on the thing ahead of time. So you have to set the alert on the whole library or the whole list ahead of time. You can also do it on specific items. So if you had a specific document or a specific item that you wanted to track, you just check the box next to it. I'm sorry, hit the three dots next to it, go to alert me, or check the box next to it, and then go up to the three dots, and there's alert me right there. It's a little bit different. The form looks a little bit different for specific files or items, and that the title looks different, but everything else is basically the same. Again, I would not mess with the title. The title tells you once you want to manage your alerts, it tells you, like in this case, it tells you what library it is and what item it is. If you mess with the title, then later when you go to manage your alerts, you want to turn one off, you want to modify it so it only comes daily instead of immediately, you won't know which one it is. So leave the title alone.
Um, I'm looking also up there at the top on the what's is that the menu bar down, you got delete and right next to you have automate.
Mhm.
Does that imply that I can automate from this or I can create automation rules on this?
Yeah. So there is the automation rules, which are, and it's basically the same thing as an alert, but it shows up a little bit differently, and you don't have as many options to change, but notifies you when somebody modifies an item, a new item is created, or an item is deleted.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me about that drop down. I always forget about it because I'm old school. I use the alert me. Any
All
other
right.
questions? Or anybody want to go into the networking question? Maybe somebody from my team?
Okay, I guess I'll go again. Um, so uh, we use a lot of different usage of how we can use SharePoint in the field. For instance, in the oil and gas industries, not only for safety industries, for safety, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but it also can be used just for, maintaining, you know, pressure levels, maintaining documentation that is pertinent to the company. A lot of companies, worry about security from outside in, but they never really think about the security inside out. You know, how can those things can be separated be in within an organization from your safety and regulations, how much oil is being pumped out, how much they're being sold for, different information for different areas of the organization. So my question is for the network, what are some different sect or different pieces of organizations that may also be able to use in these organizations other than for safety? Let's say, for instance, in the oil and gas. Besides safety, what else can SharePoint be used for?
I mean, there's, lots of things like you were pointing out, used for project management, across any industry. The projects may look different, but managing how you interact with folks, the ability to chat, the ability to have online meetings, even on the fly, to help you work better together, the ability to have your documents all in one place, as well as any other widgets that you may need. So, for example, if you are working social media inside of your company and you have your social media team, you could be using um, uh, different widgets that you pull in from the outside world. Maybe you are embedding a social media feed so that you can see that on the page of in SharePoint. Um, you could be using you could be, a general user for your company, your staff. You're working and you need to submit, time off requests. So there could be an app that's created using Power Apps, or maybe even a Microsoft Forms, or maybe even just a regular SharePoint list where you go in and you fill out the form, and you submit your time off requests, and say maybe an HR internal facing site, um, and be able to pick up documents like, maybe you get an alert from the HR site and announcements or news posts saying, okay, it's that time of year again. It's time to make your insurance elections. So now you go into the site and you pick up your insurance forms, you review, you make your changes, or you upload your new form, or however it is. Maybe it's your handbook that you need to re-sign for the next year. So that's like another internal type way that you could be using SharePoint and some of the other things, other widgets, bringing them in to help you do your job, or help you present or represent data that needs to be communicated across the board.
Okay, I have one more question. And that question is this. If I were just an artist on the street that sells my artwork, I'm next to someone that do put boutique work, and they're next to someone that just do generators, right? But they, you know, they want to have an Office 365, a SharePoint site, but they want to go in together as one. Are we able to create different site collections? One for um, for the electrical people, one for the artists, one for the boutique, and each permission structure around each of them to help bring down the cost of licensing.
Yes. Yes. And you don't even have to say, for example, the artist is the one that owns the Office 365, but he doesn't want to spend money on creating extra licenses for other folks so that they can have access to the other things Office 365 has. Um, they can just add those other folks that they're working with as guest users into the site, so that they're able to access the site. Now, there's certain things they won't be able to do as a guest user, but they'll be able to see things. They'll be able to interact with most things. Um, they might not be able to delete like the list or libraries, but you don't want them doing that anyway. They may be able to delete items, but in the list or library. So they'll be limited to some of the things that they'll be able to do. But you can even save money by adding folks as guests as opposed to giving them a full license.
So with that, that means the boutique person will be able to go into their SharePoint files, add files, take files out, edit files, things of that nature,
Mhm.
and it will be separated from.
Yep, they could have different sites or different site collections. Yep, with different permission structure, just as you said. Yeah, and to save the more money, instead of that artist adding the boutique person to their site with a full Office 365 license, they can just give them guest access, which costs nothing. That person just needs to the boutique person needs to make sure that they have a Microsoft account. A Microsoft account is free. It's like your Hotmail, your Outlook.com, your MSN account, your like I said, Hotmail if you're that or Throwback, which I'm at Throwback. Um, the Office 365 accounts are also Microsoft accounts. Dynamics 365 or Dynamics accounts are also Microsoft accounts. But you can also change any email address into a Microsoft account for free as well. So you could sign up a Gmail email as a Microsoft account for free and then use that. And then once you give that to the artist who owns the sites, he adds that email to that site and that gives that person direct access. Only that person, or maybe there's multiple people that they add to that one site. Whoever has access will be able to get access, whether they're at the guests or they're internal.
Okay, thanks for that. And for those who don't know me, I am Harry Carter, co-CEO NCT Tech. Thank you very much.
Alrighty. All right, thanks everybody. We'll go ahead and move on now to the last bit. Since we don't have any more networking or any more questions. Do you want to try the things that we're doing in these calls? Well, you definitely can. And you can get a free account to do that. You can sign up for your own free Microsoft developer account. It comes with, I think, 25 E5 licenses. So you get like the top shelf licensing. I don't think you get Copilot yet, but that may be involved soon. But right now, you do get those E5 licenses, which also includes the ability to do Power Apps and Power Automates and Microsoft Forms. Um, and some Power BI. Power BI is a little bit more limited, or it might be full in this one, but you have a lot of great tools to be able to do most of the things that we talk about in all of these sessions by using this QR code and getting your free M365 developer account. And you can share that developer account with multiple people because, like I said, you get like 25 licenses. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this month. We hope you enjoyed the learning and the networking. Please join us if you haven't already by using the QR code to join the community page, which is where the discussions and Q&A is on LinkedIn, excuse me. Use the Nancy Company page to find out when the next events are happening. So you could use that one as well. And if you have any feedback for us for these events, we would love to hear it. Please use the post survey event QR code to submit a survey to give us our feedback on what we could improve, which you'd like to continue seeing, so forth and so on. We look forward to seeing you again next month. It will be the fourth Saturday of the month, so November 23rd. We'll have Blaze come back and do his presentation on digital sustainability. And then we'll have Eric, who is our normal speaker, and then one other speaker who will be announced fairly soon. So the topics and all of the speakers will be posted very soon. And we look forward to seeing you again next month.